Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the big one. It's time it's time to discuss. I truly think Elon Musk's dad and Woody Allen might be the same human being.
So
Woody Allen?
Yes.
Griffin was confused who Woody Allen is. Yes? Question mark.
Yes, not Woody Harrelson, but Woody Allen.
No.
Okay, see, I do that all the time, and Kiana gets angry at me because she's the one that told me about Woody Allen. I always call him Woody Harrelson because, and I know that they're nothing alike, but it's not too many people named Woody.
I always
Yeah,
call him
no,
Woody from
Woody's
Toy
fine.
Story.
I
Wait, you call
also get him confused with for some reason Willie
Willie Nelson.
yeah, Willie Nelson.
what? Well, he's
Yeah,
not a Woody. He's a Willy.
yeah, I know
A
he's
Willie or a
he's a
Woody,
Willie,
you know?
not a Woody,
What's
but
what's the difference between a Woody and a Willy, though? I mean, honestly, it just depends on what region you're from.
I'd have to show you.
In America, you call your penis your Woody, your Willy.
Some
I mean,
people do.
I think it's
Anyway.
a question of hard or soft, is it not?
Yeah, I guess so. That's a valid point. So
Interesting.
the thing is here, Woody Allen and Elon Musk's dad did the same thing. In case anyone's wondering, I'm gonna give you some backstories. They both married a woman, adopted the stepdaughter, raised the stepdaughter from a young age, and then married the stepdaughter
Yeah, they groomed the stepdaughter
and had
their
kids.
whole lives. Yeah.
I'm not laughing because it's funny that they did that.
It's fucked up.
I'm laughing because I just don't see, like, I'm really good at putting myself in other people's perspectives, like wearing other people's shoes. I just can't wear those shoes. It's like
Can't
they're
for this
way
one.
too fucking tiny or something. I just can't understand it. That perspective doesn't fit in my brain. So how do you? I just don't get it. I mean, they fit right in with Hollywood though. Like it makes sense.
So
Yeah.
I he's done one movie that I can recognize when I'm looking it up, and that
I honestly
movie is
don't know what he's
Ants.
done.
Did you say
dude,
ants?
you made
Yes,
no
and
way.
in the movie Ants, isn't it like
Wait, it's not ants like the fucking.
animated Ants,
Bro, I'm thinking of
1998?
A Bug's Life.
Oh no, no, they came
Oh,
out at the same time, but they were like competing.
they're both
But
great movies.
yeah, that guy, he married his daughter.
Yeah, his
That's
stepdaughter.
not good. I knew
Yeah.
that. I do recall that. Now that I see his face, but
He has that face.
he looks very like I don't
Creepy.
know how to describe it. I don't know why, but it's showing me a whole bunch of like weird photos of him dressed up like a robot.
That sounds sick. Oh, I mean, that's something I would be interested in.
Yeah, I just Googled Woody Allen movies and it came up with a couple of them, one in particular.
He's like, yo, beep boop bop. I touch him
You know who
up.
he kind of looks like to me?
Who?
Is Andy Dick.
Who the fuck's
Yes.
Andy Dick?
You know who Andy Dick is? He's like also
now I
a
do.
weird perverted man
Oh
that's
my
like
God.
in jail for sexually harassing people.
That's
do look the
strange, eh?
same. Wait, but one clearly has a very defined ass
One's a
chin.
comedy as well.
Yes.
One's
Oh
very
yeah, that's the difference. Never mind. Speaking of people with insane sex lives, do you guys know the guy, Victor Hugo, the guy that wrote Les Miserables? Or,
Oh, Les Miserables?
thank you. Jesus, my fucking brain, dude. So tired.
Yeah,
and he
I
wrote
know.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So you know who I'm talking about?
Well, we're tight, yeah. We're best
Okay,
friends.
cool. Because he's dead, but
Yeah, like, that's what I mean. We're not tight. Like I just,
He's tight spiritually.
you're tight like
spiritually.
you're tight like my pronunciation of his play that I've never seen.
Yeah, that was tight.
Thank
No,
God.
I knew about the Notre Dame writer, man, but I didn't know about the other one.
So this guy reportedly had sex with more than 200 people in the period of 2 years. Like
that seems
How?
accomplishable. No?
What year was it, though?
I don't know. So I was reading this thing, like scientists were literally studying this guy's body because of his insatiable sexual nature. Like he just couldn't be satisfied. Like he was talking about how when he got married, the night of his wedding, he had sex like 9 times that night. Now, this could be one of those things where, the guy who gets no pussy likes to exaggerate how much pussy he gets, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or it could be, I mean, this guy was famous for writing like romantic novels and plays and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that was his whole thing. But also, imagination runs wild on someone who has a lot of free time and no experience. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it.
I mean,
But
it's kind of crazy if he did have sex with 200 people, because I'm pretty sure, like, the Hunchback of Notre Dame was back in like the 1800s of when it was published. Yeah.
okay,
So
so
Yeah,
that's
that's an
they've been
old book.
decoding his diary, and 4 months before he died, there were 83 separate entries about lovemaking.
about banging. Wow.
Yeah,
Dang.
the 4 months before he died at 83 years old, he wrote
Dang.
Wow. So, like, 200 people, there wasn't that many people, like, around his
Right.
vicinity in the 18 or yeah, in
He
the
populated this whole
1800s.
city.
So supposedly, like the day he died, every single brothel in town was shut down because all of the prostitutes were in mourning. Like that's not even a joke.
Dang. All the
Imagine
women
slinging dick
showing up
God.
like
for the
that at
funeral.
83. Good for him, dude. They didn't even have Blue Chew back then. Not a sponsor.
Well, how did he die? Syphilis?
Not a sponsor.
Uh, no, he just died of old age. Motherfucker was 83.
Wow.
That's impressive that he didn't contract any sort of disease.
A little bit.
Supposedly, he would like have sex with a prostitute when he first woke up, and then like he would find an actress before lunch, and then like a famous courtesan in the evening. That was like his
He
way to,
switches up his tastes.
yeah.
Okay.
That's so insane to me. So every single morning, this guy brought a prostitute. How did he have the money just for writing? I mean, this is back in the fucking day, right? Like, when was this motherfucker alive?
Well, I'm sure everybody
I might
bought his
Google that
book.
shit.
Yeah, all the rich people bought his books. Because what else were they doing back then other than
Victor
Oh, this guy
Hugo.
died in 1885. He was born in 1802.
So
Jeez.
yeah, 1800s, man. That's
How do you
that's
not
the
get a
time to fuck.
disease?
I guess there
Good
maybe
time.
wasn't that many around.
Apparently, after he died too, every sex worker in the town draped their genitals with black crepe post.
Oh,
Black crepe post his demise. Sorry, they put no comma. These people have no
wait,
grammatical
what is
sense.
that?
I don't know what a black crepe is. I'm assuming it's a fucking skinny
Sounds like
pancake made out of eggs.
right. That's what I'm saying. They really did that.
I don't know what that word probably means.
So I'm pretty sure it's like a flower.
Oh,
Oh,
so everybody's rocking flowers in there, you know,
do you think they
hoo-has
all
and
walked
whatnots.
around naked, showing it off, or it was like hidden?
I mean, they were prostitutes, but they closed down because they were mourning. So I would assume they probably like wore a see-through dress and let everyone know they got a black flower in their pussy lips, probably.
They were like,
I,
yeah, we also slept with him. It's like a sign of like respect. Yeah, we did it
So
too.
I want to say I believe it, and if the whole town was in on it, then and it's not true, that's even more impressive. If like everyone
Right.
came together to corroborate this guy's lies about slinging dick until he was 83, then that's fucking badass. But why would an entire city of people lie? And then, well, maybe it's a free day off work. They were like, oh, come on, guys, let's just pretend that everything this
Right.
guy was saying was true, and let's get a free day off, and we'll just drink all day and pretend we're sad.
Yeah, then they don't have to have
man's
sex with anyone. They're
man's
good.
never wrote a single book. He just conversed with all these different prostitutes, collected their idea of a true love story, wrote it down for them, and that's why they're all having us back and saying that he was the best lover, because they like
That's
got to
genius.
write for them.
I mean, if you look at the self
Ah,
or the portraits this guy had like painted of him and stuff, he always looks incredibly bored. Like he looks like he's literally thinking, I could be fucking right now.
right. He doesn't want to waste his time taking a picture. Because what?
Yeah.
How long did it take to take a picture back then? You know, you had to sit
Yeah.
there for a long time.
And if this motherfucker's really like banging like that, how did he have time to write plays? Was he just like getting his dick sucked and had his quill pen and his fucking
Oh,
undergarments pulled down to the
he's
floor, piece of paper on his leg?
multitasking, buddy.
Yeah.
That's where it originated, right
It's like,
there.
my darling, could you quite possibly suck the left testicle so I could write in this book? That's exactly how it went.
That's probably
Um,
what he sounded like. Dead on.
Speaking of people that had ungodly like appetites and insatiable hungers. Have you guys heard of the fucking Tutabocus?
No, I don't know what the fuck
What
that is.
is that?
Bro, this is real. Tutabocus. Look this shit up. Tutabocus rex. Anyone can look this shit up and corroborate what I'm saying.
Rex?
Yeah, okay,
How
so
do you
just
spell
all
it?
you have to look up honestly is Tutabocus. T-E-U.
So a T-Rex?
No,
What's
no,
a
no.
Tutabocus Rex?
T-E-U-T-O-B-O-C-H-U-S. So I'll just go ahead and give you the short rundown. In 1613, really fucking large bones were found. To be
Oh,
exact,
giants.
it was an entire human skeleton, and this is like been corroborated because later on a paleontologist tried to say that the bones actually came from like a mammoth type animal, supposedly. But
Yeah.
it was a human skeleton they found. They dug like 18 feet down in the ground and found like a 30-foot long brick tomb. And the skeleton they found was 25.5 feet long, 10 feet wide across the shoulders, and 5 feet deep from the breast to the back. And his teeth that they found were the size of like an ox's foot.
I'm looking at
That's
it right
wild.
now.
Is that not okay? So it led me down this fucking rabbit hole, right? Every time I've ever heard anyone talk about giants or some shit, I just immediately was like, "Damn, you've done a lot of fucking acid recently and
Dude,
been on the
giants are
internet."
definitely real. They
Yeah, this
were.
shit is insane. So like, uh, so my family, my lineage goes on my mom's side. They were like Pamunkey Indians, which is like a sect of the Powhatan Indian. My buddy is Apache, and then my other friend's Chickasaw. Like it's like a whole bunch of like Native American friends I made growing up, and they were telling me
Yeah.
about their families, like uh, cultural stories and things like that, like folklore, I guess. And every single one of them, like passed down for generations, is stories of killing like these giants and making mounds to like bury their bodies that go all the way across the United States. And
Jesus.
so you're telling me like the people that are leaving these stories around the 16 to 1700s are the same at the same time we're discovering bones of giants in other areas of the country. And my
Right?
favorite part is in 1980 when the government's like, "Yeah, that's a fucking mammoth, bro. That was a mammoth." Okay, so how do you get even if there's 400 years in difference of discovery or 67 rather, you cannot tell me that any human on this earth, regardless of how long ago it was, unless we're talking straight Stone Age, would confuse a human skeleton and a mammoth. There's no way.
Well, you just can't.
There's no way.
So here's the only thing about that is people have a maximum height, maximum weight that they can get to before they start literally collapsing in on themselves or start not functioning correctly because the human circulatory system and our endocrine system, as well as just basically how we oxygenate our blood, currently anyway, if we look at our cells, we're capped. So I believe it's once you get to 70% muscle mass on top of bone, you actually start to crush bone.
Yeah, people
So
with like gigantism have that issue.
yes, and I have a buddy of mine actually in particular who he's 6'4", 6'4", but his hip basically on the one side, it can't take the weight of how massive his upper body is. So he has arthritis and he's had to get a prosthetic hip and he's only 26.
Yeah, he definitely skipped leg day, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, but my point is, back in the day, in prehistoric times, like 4,000 years ago, we had enough oxygen permeating the globe to basically supersaturate most things, but in particular, those things didn't have the same circulatory system we do. So, for example, if you squish a bug, there's no lungs in a bug. They don't have the same. They don't breathe
Bugs don't
like
have
us.
lungs.
Bugs don't have lungs, no.
How does
So
that
you
work?
guys, it's very not well known, but yeah, bugs don't have lungs. They basically absorb oxygen into their system and saturate their organs. And based on how much oxygen is available to do that, that will vary on their size. So as it is right now, we have really tiny bugs because we have like what 20% oxygen. I don't know how much oxygen we have in our atmosphere, but
Oh,
back
so
in
you're
the day,
saying we would have bigger bugs the more oxygen around
bigger
us.
bugs and yeah,
What's
bigger bugs.
That's terrifying.
what's weird about the bugs not having lungs is they do have trachea like all over their fucking body, which
Yeah,
is even weirder to think about. Imagine having just a bunch of like lung openings, or, like entrances to lungs, but there is no lung. It's just straight into their back or
That'd
their
be so
abs.
creepy to watch it
Oh, but okay,
fluctuate and move.
back to the Giants. You were saying like as the current species, there's no possible way we could sustain it at this time, but because back then there was a lot more oxygen, plant life, and generally a healthier planet. Also, the other thing you got to think about is there's
well, no,
multiple.
sorry to cut you off real quick. You said healthier planet, healthier in one way, but in other, we wouldn't be able to breathe. There would be too much oxygen. If we went back in time right now to the prehistoric times of like 29 million years ago, we wouldn't need oxygen. Well, we would need carbon masks actually, because there's not enough in the air. But it was so saturated with a high percentage of it was basically like a cloud mixture of ozone and oxygen, and that is what caused everything back in the day to be so giant. But
Weird.
nowadays we're capped by literally how much oxygen we can get. In particular, it's most noticeable in bugs. That's why I brought that up right away. But
Yeah, I guess everything though, in general, is like shrinking and like, you know what I'm saying? Like humans over time are like supposed to
so that's the
shrink
only
and
thing that I'm
bend
thinking of, like
over, and
how,
their
because
backs are supposed to be all fucked over time.
like Earth's gravity is constantly pulling you towards the center of the planet, right? Like and that's the other thing that is I wanted to bring up one day, but a lot of people think gravity is pushing you down. It's not. It's pulling you. But base. What was I? What was I talking about?
Oh god,
Talking
you're
about.
talking about gravity pushing,
I was,
pulling, not
I was
pushing.
okay. So I was bringing up the fact that you were saying the planet wasn't
Oh yeah.
necessarily healthier.
So right now, the planet is mostly gas. It's about 21% oxygen out of all the planet. Back in the day, that was flipped, so we had about 78% oxygen, and everything else was not yet dead and didn't create carbon dioxide and other gases. And that's another thing that is kind of interesting. The amount of dead things on the planet, it makes our planet like sicker, I guess you could say sicker, but we're like everything dead, a little bit of it flies into the atmosphere and it clouds up a bit, but it's true.
So we are all slightly
Do that. Sorry, the dog.
it's okay, necrophiles. What's the word?
Like,
What's the word when you cannibalize a dead body? Not necrophilia, but
When you cannibalize it, I don't know. Fuck.
zombies? I don't
who
know.
fucking knows? Anyways, what I was bringing up, the giants. I think it doesn't matter what position the planet was in for humans or anything else because there's so many different species of humans that people don't even talk about. I mean, we just recently discovered a species of human. Well, how long ago was that? Like 2 years ago, we discovered a new species of human.
Oh, I do remember hearing about that. Yeah,
It was
like
yeah, it's
a
okay.
new,
So it was 2021. It was
yes, a
yeah,
new
it wasn't
part
even 2 years ago.
of the chain of like how we've evolved. Yeah.
No, because there's like Neanderthals, and then there's Homo. I'm gonna slaughter this.
Damn, what am I thinking of then?
It's Bodoensis. I don't want to.
Homo Bojangles.
I don't want to fuck this up.
Oh, I just did.
Bodoensis. I have no idea. Anyways, another humanoid figure that we found. So my argument here is it doesn't really matter what it was like for the current human, because this is, all the other species have pretty much died out at this point, right? Supposedly, so on and so forth. There's small percentages of Neanderthals left in some people, small percentages of this line of humanoids and some other
Yeah.
people, but particularly where Tutabocus comes in is he was factually recorded. It's not a what did this guy exist, or
A what if
is it even
situation.
possible if this guy existed? He was the king of the Teutons. Like, they existed, like, and they were written about by all kinds of people. Roman authors. Julius Caesar literally has talked about it. There's recordings of Julius Caesar, excuse me. He described them as Germanic people, but it was basically, he called everyone that. No one actually knows what language they spoke or anything, but everything indicates they had a strong Celtic language background, which even more so proves the point of the theory that all of these giants were people that were, unnecessarily tall, like really fucking tall, rather, and they had red hair, like glowing red hair. So what is one of the main traits of people that speak Celtic languages in that region?
They're
Typically
all
red hair.
red haired. Yeah.
Fire crotches. Yes.
Yes, gingers. Bastards. I can't say anything. I'm Scottish, but it's weird that I'm Scottish and I'm fucking brown all the way around, all the way down to my DNA, dude. But
All the way down to his DNA.
so they find literally on this guy. They called this guy Tutabocus Rex. That was his name. Like, they had it
Yeah,
written on his
T-Rex.
fucking gravestone. See, that's what I'm wondering. Like, is that where that? How did that come about? Like, do you
So
think they named him after the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and Rex is
Yeah,
just
it had to have been. Yeah, because he's obviously way
oh,
in,
dude, it actually turns out
in a
that
new
Rex
age.
just means reigning king.
yeah, Rex
Really?
is an old word meaning reigning king.
I did not know that.
So with this guy, to even further back up this claim, have you guys heard of the Giant of Kandahar?
No,
No.
absolutely
It's more
not.
cryptid giant shit. Okay, so I'll just quick rundown. This guy was an enormous humanoid creature, quote unquote, pale skin, glowing red hair, that was allegedly encountered and killed by a group of American Army soldiers in Afghanistan in 2002. And there's
What?
there's multiple special forces people that were talking about this. So it's not people that are just like, that don't have credibility. This is people that,
Yeah,
have been put through rigorous enough training that they're part of one of the most secret and, uh, most.
they're not the people who want to come out and lie about something like that either. They like because their life's on the line, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
why would
and their
they come
credibility
out
as
and lie
well.
about that shit? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to jump on board and I want to believe in I want to be part of it, but there's a part of my brain that's just yelling at me that the rule of mass, it just doesn't, it can't abide by a giant. Like, if you were to increase a person's mass right now, just scale them up to like 10 feet, keeping their like legs, torso, and arms how they should be, they're gonna collapse in like 3
My point
years.
is, one,
Yeah, they probably
first of
didn't
all,
live
my
nearly
point
as
is,
long
I'm
as
not
we did.
saying I necessarily believe that it's true. I'm just saying that people can look into this. And my other point is that they're not humans, right? They have different DNA structure. They have a different body structure. They may even have a
Absolutely,
different
yeah.
bone structure.
That I
Yeah,
can accept.
yeah.
That
I
is
don't think that they're humans. I just think that over the course of, it's similar to, like, we have a supposed explanation of the pyramids, yet they were erected all around the world in different locations at the same time. People have stories of them during the same time period without any way to communicate with each other. And this is a similar thing where what I'm saying
Yeah,
is, like, it's been talked about in every single like different area of the world you can think of. It's in the Americas, it's in Europe, and people are
yeah.
talking about this around the same time in different points of history, and they always have the same description with seemingly no way to communicate effectively with the other people.
it is very interesting that so many cultures around the planet have giants as part of their as part of their cryptid lexicon. Like, That is weird because like even going forward, like it carried on into Jack and the Giant Beanstalk or Jack and the Beanstalk. Sorry,
Yeah.
wait, Jack and the Giant Beanstalk? No, James
Is
and the
that the
Giant
way it's
Peach.
James the Giant Peach? Yeah, Jack and the Beanstalk. Yeah.
No, but I feel like I get what you're saying. Like we've always been fascinated with giant things, and that's
Well, they're
weird.
in the Bible as well. They were referred to as Nephilim.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's been like repeatedly uh,
weird.
spoken upon and covered by every single area of history you can think of, all the way back. I mean, they have depictions of giant humanoids and in the hieroglyphs. I mean, it's all the way back. Now, like I
Oh, the
said,
hieroglyphs are crazy. That's like
my point.
they depicted airplanes and shit, or like
Oh yeah, they
helicopters
had
and
helicopters and they had
yeah,
disc. It's like it looked like a blackbird. Is exactly what it looked like. If you guys ever, you guys know what an SR-70 is? We played Call of Duty.
yes,
Uh, the fucking it's pretty fucking similar to like the side view of an SR-70. Maybe it's 71 that I'm thinking. My
yeah,
brain is I don't
whatever. It just
yeah.
it doesn't add up that they would
I'm not a
write
huge
that in rock.
also anything like I said, every time I fucking do this podcast, anything I say, please fucking look your own shit up and
Take
do
it with
your
a
own
grain of
research
salt.
and then yeah, tell me what you find and if I'm full of shit. Like apparently when we were talking about Job the other day, I had brought up the fact that God and the devil made a bet, but I was like told by a few people that it wasn't actually a bet. What it was is the translation translates to uh the devil wanted to take God to court essentially, basically to prove
Okay.
like that he is benevolent and that humans at their very nature will serve him even when things aren't going their way because the devil's like, all right, so the only reason the world follows you is because you give them everything they want, you take care of them. So he's like, all right, do whatever you want. And that was more so I made it seem like they were fucking playing
They were gambling,
yeah, they were
playing
playing
a game of
dice.
poker.
Playing some Texas Hold'em up there, but that was incorrect. So anything I say, always, do your own research. Call me an idiot. I would
Give us
appreciate that.
feedback.
Yeah, I like to know when I'm incorrect. And debate is important. I always say that. But
Healthy debate.
where I'm getting with this fucking giant shit is how many other things. Okay. So if you make this sort of connection with pyramids, you make this connection with giants, you make this connection with et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Where do you draw the line? Because I know some motherfuckers that believe in gnomes.
Oh,
Gnomes?
Yes,
no.
Like,
gnomes.
okay, what's the thing with lawn
Yeah, it
gnomes,
is
though? I'm very
true.
curious about all of that as well.
So is
So
a gnome just a person that has dwarfism? Like I'm not being
again,
ignorant, like, but is that how they describe them in history?
no,
And it's just over
no.
exaggerated,
It's
maybe?
fairy
Like,
folk, man. Fairy folk.
Sorry,
So
fairy folk.
fairies are a huge, like fairy tales. That whole thing. It's not just like for kids stories. That used to be almost like a religion. Like
Right.
it
yeah, it's just
used to
over
be.
exaggerated stuff.
If you go back to old England and you talk to people, like there are people who legitimately believe in fairies. There's
Oh, I know people in my current life that do, and that's why I brought it up.
Right?
well, and not that it's too far fetched, but it's
Discount it.
it's been described as another pocket dimension, basically. And you could
Oh,
even argue that fairies and gnomes, goblins, all that other stuff falls in line with this extraterrestrial, extra dimensional kind of
Intergalactic
like
planetary. Yeah.
so they're on the same
intergalactic
plane as
planetary,
giants. Ew,
another
and the Beastie
dimension,
Boys.
So
another
you
dimension.
just can't perceive them, is what you're saying, just yet, because they're able to move freely in a dimension that we don't have the ability to access
S-
or view.
Yeah. So back in the day when we had giants and the Anunnaki were coming down, building pyramids and like
See,
taking,
giants. There it is
yeah,
again. Oh my
take
god.
taking craps on fields and fertilizing them and like making love with humans and making like demigods and stuff.
So
I
that's
believe
why people think it's crop circle. It's actually crap circle.
Is it really? Oh, wait, shut up. Never mind. I was like, I fell into it for 1 second.
I love you, Finn. That was good.
Is it
Wait,
really?
you mean these are
Wait,
really
hey,
caused by giants taking
dude,
shits?
no way.
No, I think during all that time of maybe when things were happening, like, I know this is kind of weird, but saying like we were at a different state of mind as humans, like not so much. Well, that theory we were talking about the other day that we're kind of in this experiment where for a while, like aliens like messed with us and like chilled with us. We're like, oh yeah, we'll just like be here and these guys will be here and it'll be fine. But then at one point they were like, hey, we're kind of messing things up for these guys. We should leave. I feel like before they left, maybe that's where we got all the stories of fairy folk and goblins and trolls and whatnot. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Like again, it's very easy just for someone like you or I to make up an elaborate story, creating a new monster with aspects from your own life, and it could also be
Right.
metaphors. Right?
Oh,
Like,
so you guys know about the Hat Man too?
The what?
oh,
The Hat Man.
he
The
visits you.
Hat Man?
If you
Is he
take
still
enough
visiting
Stop.
you?
Benadryl, yeah, if you take enough Benadryl, you'll see this motherfucker.
Like the Sandman?
The Hat Man. I don't know what else to tell you, dude. It's a guy that wears a hat. If you take enough Benadryl, he'll just look at you.
Well, it's like the Sandman, right? Like he like puts you to sleep, right? It's like,
No, Sandman, he
Pretty sure that's an
got
allergic
blamed for
reaction.
killing Uncle Ben, but he didn't actually kill Uncle Ben.
oh yeah, he's a great guy actually.
Yeah, it was me that killed Uncle Ben.
Oh,
Peter
Whoa.
I'm not
Parker
sure I
picked a
agree with
peck
this.
of pickled Uncle Ben's. How many pecks of pickled Uncle Ben's did Peter Parker pick?
What's his?
Did you know that there's a brand of rice called Uncle Ben's?
I did,
There
and it's extremely
is.
racist.
Oh,
Just like Aunt Jemima was fucking racist. That's why
oh,
they
they changed. I
rebranded.
was gonna bring that up. Yeah, what's
Yeah,
it
they
called now?
rebranded
Like
that
a
shit.
Mhm.
mill company. What the fuck's it called? Like some weird ass name.
I can't remember now.
I just watched an
Oh,
ad
Pearl
on it.
Milling Company.
Yeah, I literally watched their ad where they're like, it's a bottle of Aunt Jemima's, and they flip it up and it comes back down with the new name, and they're like, it's the same taste, same fucking thing, but we're
We're
not
just not
racist anymore.
racist anymore. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. I think Uncle Ben's is racist too. I don't.
Speaking of racist,
I have no idea.
what about the boogeyman? Not that he's racist at all, or this had anything to do with what we were talking about, but that's another interesting thing that a lot of cultures around the world share this story of.
The boogeyman definitely is in every culture, I would say, that I've heard
So,
of.
what
Everyone has a
iteration of the
boogeyman.
boogeyman are we talking about? Are we talking about the
So
iteration of the boogeyman that visits you
you
in your
could
dreams?
be talking about Sackman, El Coco, Boo Boonzaman, or
Some
like
Baba Yaga.
Oh, I know what
Baba
it is.
Yaga,
I know what it is. I can tell you right now.
Gooseberry Wife. Sorry,
I can tell you
I'm
what it is.
just I'm reading a bunch of synonyms, but go ahead.
It's the fucking sleep paralysis demon. Have you guys ever had sleep paralysis?
Yes,
Dude,
that shit's terrifying.
it really is terrifying. I had to go see a therapist when I was a child. You guys can, if anyone ever wants to fact check this, ask my mom, dude. I used to have the
Oh,
worst
I
night.
just
I
got
still
the
have them,
chills
dude.
thinking about the
Dude,
one time in particular, but
oh, I have so many memories. I can tell you for sure, there's a almost 2 year period of me having the same dream every night. I can describe it to you to a T because it still fucking terrifies me. I used to sleep
Yeah,
in a bunk bed. Connor slept on the bottom. I slept on the top. And in the dream, every single time the same thing happened. I would be in the room in the bunk bed, the lights turned off, and then all of a sudden I wake up in my bed and the blankets are tucked around me so tight I can't move any part of my body, including my neck. I can't move at all. And then all of a sudden, underneath the door to my room, leading to my room, a light flips on the other side. And then I just see a shadow walking back and forth, like underneath the door, casting into the room. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
mhm.
so I wouldn't be able to look away. I wouldn't be able to blink. I wouldn't be able to breathe, talk, or anything. Saw the same thing. Then the light would go off every time the door would open, and I could just see this tall, fucking looming figure that was darker than the pitch blackness. Somehow could see him, but only in my peripheral. And every time I tried to move my eyes to where he was at, he was closer to me on the other side of my peripheral. Until at the end of the dream, every time he was looming less than an inch away from my face, and I would wake up screaming every time. And like I wouldn't open my eyes to wake up screaming. I would already be screaming and just would be able to finally get out of the
Yeah.
bed. I had that
Dude.
same dream every night for 2 years, bro. It terrified the shit out of me.
Yeah. You have dreams like that, and it puts you in. When you wake up, you don't even know if you're
Which is
like
what's real.
what's reality, and you're in shock, bro. And you're looking around the room, and you're like stuck, paralyzed, right? Like the paralysis thing. It's
So
like
another thing I want to add
hilarious.
to the fucking fact that I know that this house I stayed in had some sort of it just had supernatural experiences. And here's my proof to this. My little brother, Ian Gray, had never, at this point in his life, even seen a movie that wasn't PG. Not The Wizard of Oz, not anything. He had
Yeah.
only watched like Larva, the movie about the fucking bugs farting on each other.
Yeah.
And like Christian movies. He'd never seen any sort of depiction of a witch, a ghost, anything else. So he had this dream and he told mom about it. This fucking horrified me because if you know my brother, he's the most innocent kid in the world at this point in his life.
Absolutely.
Now he's almost a teenager and he's, getting crazy. But at this point in his life, most innocent, pure child ever would never lie. Like he would, if he even attempted to tell a lie, he would feel so bad about it, he would start crying. This kid was just, I'm telling you, innocent through and through. And he told mom he was in her bed and he was crying and she was like asking what was wrong and he told her that this is what happened to him. He said he was laying in her bed and he was awake but he couldn't move and that some lady was hanging over his bed an inch away from his face with a long nose that hung over her mouth and was screaming at him as loud as she could but no voice was coming out. So it was in a few less words than that, but that's pretty much what he said. And he was like trying to depict the face she was making and he was opening his
That's
mouth as loud as he
terrifying.
could and like shaking as hard as he could. And this is like a 4-year-old kid. And he told me that.
Weird.
And so to even further prove that that place was fucked up, my mom and my stepdad and their friends were extremely religious, like religious to the point they didn't believe in ghosts or anything like that whatsoever. We would constantly get texts from them all the time. Why are you running around upstairs? Why are you throwing shit on the floor? We wouldn't even be home. But the one that really fucked with me, I stayed in the most haunted room in the house. The fucking door would open all the time and shut by itself. I would hear people knocking on it. Something would pull blankets off me at night, and I was honestly at that point in my life still on drugs pretty bad, so I just didn't fucking care. I was like, damn it, dude, why is this thing fucking with me? I'm withdrawing right now. This is pissing me off. I just didn't even care. But my stepdad's friend stayed there, and this is another one. This guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but this guy honestly is kind of dense with his like. He's just kind of dense
Beliefs?
every time I've talked. Yeah, every time I talk to him. So he is the last person on the face of the planet that would think there was a ghost. So he had stayed the weekend. I wasn't living there at this point. I had gone and moved to Bristol. And he was staying in the room that I used to sleep in. And he, the next morning, came out and asked mom, and he was like, "Hey, why did your son just come in the room and sit down on the couch and stare at me?"
That's crazy.
Neither Connor or I were at the house, and Ian wasn't. He thought it was me. Like he was 100% sure it was me. He said, "Why did Logan come in the room last night, sit down on the couch, and stare at me?" I wasn't fucking there. I was in a whole different city.
That would
No,
terrify me.
nobody was there, and this guy is like the last person in the world who would make up. You know what I'm saying? Who would? He doesn't believe in that
Yeah.
stuff. So he was genuinely convinced that I just came in there, sat down on the couch, and stared at him. And I don't know, those two things right there, on top of all the other shit that's happened in that house, has like it's either verified my belief in, like you were saying, an unperceivable dimension that I'm just not able to view at the moment, or
Right.
some sort of demonic or supernatural shit
I
was
think
happening.
it's kids, man. Like I'm not
No, kids
I
can seriously see
yeah, that's
past
what I'm saying. The
like
veil.
what we can see.
Do you
Yeah.
think it's because their pineal gland's not calcified yet and they have a direct tap of DMT going all the time?
Sure.
It's true,
Could
dude.
be.
That's so DMT is the stuff that produces dreams, and when you die,
And
it's
over time, we don't have it in
well
our
because
adult brains.
it's fucking scientifically proven that fluoride pacifies and calcifies your pineal gland. So it
Is
pacifies
that
you as a human being, and it calcifies your pineal gland. That's factual.
so? That's why they put fluoride in our water, huh?
Oh yeah, to make us. It's I don't drink tap water, but then
I
again,
don't
what's really
drink tap
safe?
I
water either.
I drink the fucking, we have spring water down here. We have spring taps and shit in the side of the mountain you can drink out of, and I get only spring water from the store, and we have a filter on the water here. But tap water, dude, freaks me out. If anything with fluoride, but fluoride is actually really important for your teeth, so I've just given up. They've already pacified me. I've got my fucking gimp suit on and my fucking chains. I'm
They own
fucked.
us.
Yeah, they
My
own me.
my thing when I was a kid, similar to yours actually, which kind of freaked me out that you mentioned it. I have a vivid memory of, well, this happened like multiple times. The one time I just remember waking up and seeing like my door open, nothing coming through my door, but in the corner of my room, like above my door, I could see this face smiling at me and just see the outline of like a lot of crazy hair, I guess, like black, really like greasy fucking hair. Just like kind of looked like Kiss, actually, now that I think about it.
Maybe it was
Except
Gene Simmons,
really
buddy.
fucking creepy. And then another night, um, I had I woke up, and that night I was scared and I ended up yelling, and my mom came in, turned on the light, and there was nothing. But another night that really freaked me out is I was so terrified. This was the sleep paralysis that I can remember, that I woke up and this thing, the same face that was looking at me across the room, was now standing sorry, standing over top of me. And I remember trying to move my legs, like trying to move my feet to like kick them off, and I couldn't. I could only move my one leg up slightly, and I remember thinking about that in my head, that I couldn't move my legs, and I was just terrified. Tried screaming, and nothing came out. Like it was,
Dude, it's weird when
even
that
now it's
happens.
making my hair stand up. But there were like a few different times where not that happened, but something similar, where in that house was in my bed and I felt like I couldn't move because I was so terrified. But those were the two times that I can remember that kind of correlate to that. But I wonder what that is. Like, because I feel like everybody's maybe had a creepy
Oh,
boogeyman
definitely. Yeah.
or spooky ghost story. Like, maybe not everybody, but I would
I'm
say
assuming
that.
most people have an experience like that.
And is like, another thing to mention is when I was a kid, I would always like talk crazy, like not talk crazy, but like literally talk like I'm talking to dead people. So I used to,
Oh, okay, Griffin.
yeah, like I used to get messages from my
I see
dad and
dead
stuff like
people.
that, and it was kind of weird. And other people, so like I would be at just random places and like tell my mom like a lot of people have died here, and then my
That's
mom would be like,
Griffin.
no, I'm not even joking. Like we can, I'll go ask her right now. But at one nursing home in particular, I said that I had to
Oh,
leave because there was too many people. And then she was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Too many people have died here." And I don't remember this. I was like very young, and it was like in passing, like one of those days that you just go to work with your parent because they can't like figure out what to do with you, kind of thing.
yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
kind
it
of
was.
creepy, Griffin.
I
You're
think you're
tapped
onto
in
something with that pineal gland being ready to go when you're a
when
kid.
you're
But
younger. Yeah.
It's not been
literally,
tainted
like,
yet. It's literally had nothing affect it whatsoever besides growth. So it's just getting stronger until you start to take in more and more things that weaken it.
Until you realize the world, like the whole world adapts to, or you adapt to the world, I guess, right around you.
well, until you start getting fluoride in your water and that starts taking effect
Yeah.
and
Everything
all
else,
that other
dude,
stuff.
fluoride's in everything, and I do understand it's important for your teeth, but it can't be so important for your teeth that they put it in everything. They're like, God, we really don't want to have a toothless nation. That would be the worst. But
What
that's not
what
what they're thinking.
what happens when your people don't have teeth? They start to starve.
Did,
There's
did I ever tell you
it's
guys? Like I think I told you guys about when Lennon was really young, right? Like one, and she would like sit in her crib, and I swear to God, she was talking to somebody, bro. All the like for probably a year, like I would catch her talking to somebody in that room,
Bro, and
and
she
it
drew
was
some
so
creepy
weird.
fucking pictures too.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that
god,
is
dude! I'm
weird.
trying to find that one picture, man. I know you know exactly what I'm
I
talking
did.
about. That one picture that is like some creepy fucking like Stranger Things drawing of like it's like some creepy clown thing, man. I don't know what it is, but
What
yeah,
what
it's some weird shit.
what was the name of that fucking demon that Brooklyn saw? Remember? Damn. So yeah, that's we could go on all day weird shit the kids see. Honestly, we could name
Right?
a million
Yeah,
references. The point I'm making here is, I think if we're gonna do sleep studies on anyone, we should do it on children.
yeah, that would make sense.
Like, 'cause sleep studies don't hurt anybody. You literally just go to bed. Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, that's true. You gotta get people better than Greg to perform the sleep study, though.
Yeah, Greg never sleeps. Greg, can I ask you something? You won't get offended.
Yeah,
Are you a vampire?
yeah.
You're like, have you guys seen that show, What We Do in the Shadows or whatever? Is that what it's called?
I think I know what you're talking about.
God,
Yeah,
that show's fucking hilarious, man. It's about like modern day vampires, and
yeah,
it's comical, dude. There's a certain kind of vampire too, where they just drain the energy out of people around them by being extremely fucking boring.
yeah.
They're emotional vampires, and they just it's like this guy. He's bald and he has glasses. Always wears a bow tie and like a fucking sweater. And he comes into work. He's like, "So Jim, the other day I was clipping the grass one blade at a time." And then he just goes on, and you just watch the people like
Talks forever.
slowly. Yeah, the people just slowly get more and more drained until they literally black out. He's like, "Oh, on to the next one."
Right?
That's great.
Sucking their life energy.
Do you guys think that? So in the realm of uh I guess outer dimensional shit or undiscovered dimensional shit. Would you guys say you believe in forms of magic?
um,
What would you say magic? Like, what do you mean by magic? Do you mean magic in like
Not a super like a supernatural wizard hat. I'm casting ice bolts, but like magic as in like I feel like magic can be done. It's just the not and not like pulling a rabbit out of my
not
foreskin.
like David Blaine Mind Freak
Yeah, no,
or
no, I'm talking about so like Duncan Trussell talks on this a lot. Like I love Duncan Trussell's explanation of magic. I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm not gonna do it. But if you guys haven't, anyone listen to this, go listen to Duncan Trussell. Very interesting guy. He's kind of one of the main reasons I started reintroducing myself to Buddhism because his mind is just so beautiful, man. Like, and that's kind of why I got on the topic with giants today as well because I've been looking into Buddhism so much, and one of the main teachings is that all paths lead to the same goal. So we may believe differently, we may have different cultural influences, this, or that, but they lead to the same thing. It's basically the same story interpreted in different ways. And so he talks about how, um, you know, what's how do we know what's true, what's right, or what's wrong? Which is one of my favorite quotes by Elon Musk is they were asking about simulation theory. They said, "What's the percent that the simulation theory is real?" And he was like, "Huh, I say 50%." And they said, "Why?" And he said, "Because either it is or it isn't. Everything in the universe is 50%. Either it is or it isn't until you get into quantum mechanics." And that right there is kind of what's led me down this open-minded rabbit hole, kind of diving into folklore and myths and stuff like that. So when he's like talking about magic, he's talking about it in the sense of like politics, for example, is the magic of shrouding and brain control, like over a mass population of people. They put on this incredible illusion and make people follow it blindly and go through their motions without them ever knowing it's an illusion. So,
well,
like,
that's interesting that you brought that up because I was gonna say to me, magic is something beyond someone's understanding that inspires awe.
that's
So
a
it
good
doesn't
definition.
necessarily need to be good awe or bad awe. It just has to be
Ah,
like awe, like
ah,
ah. So another thing to bring up is the word awesome. Um, it's used pretty a lot now, but back in the day, it really meant to be awe-inspired.
yeah,
Like you were awe-stricken, you were awesome, or you witnessed something awesome.
yeah.
But I think that's cool. All right, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna add on to what you're saying. I think as time has gone on, words have lost their impact. Like we use slang so regularly and casually now that we just literally change the meaning of words all the time. Like
Yeah.
slang for the English language to me, and complete offense to anyone who takes offense to this, it's just really gotten ridiculous at this point. It's gotten so ridiculous. Some of the things that people say, like, bro, like
Just talk
Kiana's
normal.
watching this show of like all these rich kids who get put on an island, and I swear to God, this was a conversation that came down that was happening. These two people were on a jet ski, and this guy walks down the dock, and he's like, "Yo, you guys chilling? All right, bussin'." What like what does he mean? Are they chilling? They're riding a fucking jet ski. They ride by him on the jet ski, and he said, "Yo, are you guys chilling?" Like what the fuck? And then he says, "All right, bussin'." What the fuck is busted? Like what is happening?
Yeah.
And then bust
No.
down is a whole different thing. What?
It's
Where does it stop? Does it stop with the drip? Because I I'm getting drip fed some shit in a tube. It feels like.
I feel as though it's just changing of language, like not changing of language, but the same way like old English would sound if we went back to the 1800s and spoke as we do now, people would think we're just speaking gibberish.
Dude, I just honestly figured it out. We're actually at the last step before we become the most advanced version of ourselves. The hieroglyphs weren't fucking a picture, a pictograph to teach little kids things. They're emojis. They only spoke in emojis.
Exactly.
They
That's what
only
we're
spoke in
gonna get
emojis.
to.
We're gonna
So now bussin really that means like the actual meaning of that is something really good. So that's like a word emoji.
Oh my
That's what
God.
slang is.
We're gonna get to a point where we just fucking emoji each other.
I already think we're at a point now where most of what we say to each other in passing is references and different callbacks to memories.
Yeah, there's not too many like new thoughts. There's not too many new points of
There's no
conversation.
such thing as a new thought anymore.
Well, that's not true. There's
Okay, there
Okay,
definitely
is,
so
but
innovative people.
in our
it's
group
very
chat, for
difficult.
example, what are things that we always say to each other? And like, so we love our boys.
You want me to say some of those things out loud?
Yeah, do some
Greg, you're
Gregisms.
the master of them, so
Yeah.
go Gregism, go hard.
I'm gonna say I always say yerp,
You're,
or
I
I
love my
love my
boys.
boys,
I love
or
my
I'm gonna
boys.
say
God, we
that's
all
pretty
have ones that we kind of just repeat. I've every single
Right?
morning
yeah,
hit you guys
absolutely.
with the
No
Logan
one
always
fucking
says
loves me.
my friends hate me.
it's fucking hate
Why do
me.
you
And
guys
you're like,
hate
look,
me?
stop ignoring me. And the second you answer, I'm like, oh, thank God, dude. I was in the miserable despair, the solitude. It was
He was in the
crushing
upside
me.
down.
I couldn't breathe. Oh, thank God you saved me. And then immediately I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But we also have like things like I wanna go to the moon.
Oh
I
my
Oh,
God,
really
I
yeah.
butchered
saved that
that.
earlier. I
Oh,
saved
that
it
Ah.
was really
earlier,
good,
Logan.
Logan, by the way.
Yeah,
What?
props to you. I saved it in the chat.
Saved what?
You're
Your moon.
you're don't leave so
Oh,
soon.
my cover of it. Dude, I
Yeah.
was half asleep. I was laying on my bed with the baby, and I was like,
That's the best. I love
yeah,
it.
man, that's one thing I wanted to touch on today too. What kind of world do you think we're gonna leave for our children? Like, what do we see in the next 20 years?
Death and despair.
Is that it? Is it like is there a global disdain
I don't know.
for the current regime that it's so our outlook is so dismal that we think we're gonna be dead in 20 years?
At this point,
Nah,
if you want to make
maybe.
an impact on the planet for your child, dig a really big hole because that's the only thing that's going to actually make a dent. I'm
Okay, so
sorry.
you want me to
Quite
fucking
literally.
hairbrine this shit, gather all the Minecraft players in the world, give them pickaxes, buy a plot of land, and be like, all right, motherfuckers, I
Dig.
want you to dig. Dig.
Dig.
Instead of, yeah,
Go.
it's like that song. Instead of run, it's like dig. Imagine. Do you think a group of 50,000 Minecrafters could reach get through the outer crust?
Oh, why? Yeah, if they had a reason. I'm gonna say it. If 50,000 humans got together and did the exact same thing and put their minds to it, the force behind that is gonna be crazy. Like you probably know this too, Logan, being in the States where there's a lot more people, but like a stadium full of people can make the ground shake. Like
Yeah.
I was just watching a video on there's this guy I watch on YouTube, and he does football videos, but he was just at a stadium in Michigan for like Michigan State, and they can seat over 100,000 people in that stadium.
Whoa.
And like, could you imagine hearing them? He was like saying like he's been there before while everybody was there, and like the players on the field can't even like hear themselves talk to each other because of the amount of people screaming.
that much vibration in one place. Oh, that would be crazy.
Dude, okay, so you guys know about the Metallica concert
No,
at the fucking in Moscow?
no.
Where
No.
dude, this is real. You guys have got to watch the Moscow concert. There was anywhere from 500,000 to 2 million people in that area. They had fucking riot
Fuck.
helicopters
Oh
spraying the
yeah,
crowd.
I did see clips of that. Like I thought it was fake because there were so many
No, dude.
people.
No, dude, that was Metallica. Dude, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, people can hate on the genre as much as they want and get upset when other bands try to idolize themselves after Metallica, but dude, they were fucking legendary. They changed an entire fucking generation of people. If you meet people who have show hopped Metallica, if they're still alive, that is, because most of them are fucking dead. Because if you show hop Metallica, I mean, you're probably drinking every single fucking night and doing countless drugs. I can't think of anyone like who is sober and who is sober rather and show hops. If you're out there and you're listening to this, please message me. I'd like to interview you because when I was show hopping, I was fucked up out of my mind. But this concert, man, is fucking incredible. They had helicopters fucking spraying people with hoses and like putting tear gas in the crowd and everything, trying to get them to stop moshing. Because imagine a mosh pit in the middle of like anywhere from half a
People
million to
would
2
be
million
dead.
people, dude. I don't even know if there was. There had to be people dead because people died at fucking Travis Scott and that motherfucker's lame as shit.
Hmm.
You gonna mosh at Travis? They weren't even at the concert yet. Am I right? They
Makes
had.
me
Yeah, I
think
think it was
of
them all going into the
That's
concert
so
and shit
fucked
or
up,
something.
man.
Yeah.
That definitely had to be a lapse on the venue.
so
Like,
quick spoiler alert for what I'm about to say, but have you guys
Whoa.
seen New Suicide Squad?
oh
Oh
man,
yeah, I told you that I watched it with.
I have not.
I've
Oh,
watched
You
it
got to
twice.
remember, I'm not a huge movie guy. I'll never
You haven't.
know.
Okay, Logan. I just want to say that you will love it. Like it is. It's our style of comedy, bro. It's so funny.
there's also
Please,
a
please
part in
watch
that
it.
movie that I really want to talk about that connects, but it's okay.
Talk about it.
I'm
People
gonna.
people need to
Do
know.
it. Okay.
Just
Well,
enlighten me. I can learn. I'm never gonna watch it. I don't watch movies.
okay. So in that movie, spoilers. There is a character called Ratcatcher 2.
See a shark? I saw a
No,
shark on something.
that's a different character.
Oh,
But this character in particular, her dad was Ratcatcher, and he developed a scientific method to control rats using sound, and really fucking smart. Kind of a cool power to have as a superhero, I guess. Anyway, her dad died, and then she inherited the stuff, and I won't get into her backstory too much, but at the end of the movie they're facing this giant like chimera sized fucking starfish,
Starro.
and
Yeah.
oh
it's
my
Star.
god! Now that I think about it, that would be horrifying because starfish have like millions of fucking teeth and mouths.
Also, this
Right.
thing shoots tiny starfish out of its armpits that latch onto your face and take control of you and add you to
Yeah.
this hive mind.
Mermaid
um,
man.
it's actually kind of fucking scary, but
Mermaid Man.
um,
Yeah, pretty much.
Ratcatcher 2 basically uses all the rats in the city. I forget what city it is, but it's fucking
They're
Gotta be
infested.
New York. Gotta be New York.
No, they're not
Full
in
of
New
fucking
York. They're
rats.
in.
No,
They're
it's like
in.
Rio or something.
Yeah.
No, it's like a made up island,
Oh,
but it's like a poorer island, I guess.
wow. They just had to be like, all poor people have rats. I had rats growing up, but it wasn't because I was poor, but I was also poor. Wait, hold on.
Anyhow, these like it almost looks like a million rats, but it's probably just like a 10,000 or something like that. Just tear this mother up. Like these tiny,
Yeah.
tiny things just rip this gigantic thing a new one by like crawling inside of it. And it's kind of like the thought process of germs or something like that. Like if
Yeah,
enough
they're like
things,
bacteria getting into them, like destroying them from
yeah,
the inside out.
it's the same thing. Like, how can a germ, a little virus, bring down a human? It's replication and like concentration of power. Like, I think if enough people put their minds to it, we could do fucking anything.
Absolutely.
How many rats are you killing before you're taken out? You can pick any weapon that's obviously within
How
your
many rats am
ability
I
to hold
killing?
it. You can
Can I
anything that you can hold, you can use. And I'm not talking like a nuke or anything. Like just handheld weapon. How many? You pick
use a
whatever you want.
made-up weapon?
No, I'm talking about
Okay,
Mm,
real
so
life.
how about a weed whacker that is like
God.
made out of
a
some
plug-in weed
kind
whacker.
of crazy steel that won't break on a million rats?
Even
Wait,
Jesus.
still, they're going to be attacking you from all directions. It's like an
shit.
omnidirectional attack. So you're not
I
just
don't.
getting them from one way.
I
Yeah,
gotta
true.
have some better thought to this.
So wait, does it have to be a melee weapon or can it be like a
Be
conventional weapon?
anything you can hold.
Can it be a combo of weapons?
I'll give you two choices.
Hmm.
I'm gonna
Okay.
say. Oh shit! Only two. I have
Yeah.
like a 3-tier plan.
Okay, fine. Tell me it.
Let's say I'm in a raft in the middle of the ocean, and somehow I lure them into the water to try to get me, and I can electrocute them all in the water.
But you can't hold the ocean.
Fine, a big fucking pool.
Can you hold a pool? You're strong as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
This guy
Okay.
can hold thousands of
I can't-
gallons of water.
Okay, so Greg's going with water gun. What do you say, Logan?
So if you're talking handheld, Greg, I guess you could do like some sort of water hose or sprinkler system with a Tesla gun, but you also
Right,
risk
and then like,
electrocuting yourself doing that.
hey, the
Any
risk
water
is
that
worth
touches
it.
you, I wouldn't be able to do that because I got metal in my hand.
Hmm.
To be
That's a
real.
good point.
You asking me what I'm gonna use?
I can go first if you want. I don't care.
I'll go ahead and go. I'm gonna use a can of glue and a lighter, flammable glue.
Yeah, I was gonna say a
Oh, a
torch,
flamethrower would be
and
so good. Okay.
See if
you would
flamethrower
run out
runs out
of
of fluid.
runs out of fluid. Exactly. I was gonna
Why?
say like
Oh, you can't have infinite fluid. That's a rule. You can't like stock up.
No. We're talking just like within realistic, because it totally would happen that tens of thousands of rats would attack you all at once. How are you gonna deal with it? That's something. And I'll give you this. You have 5 minutes to prepare. I'm just gonna pour glue and a giant fucking radius around me. And I know that tens of thousands of rats will eventually start running over the other rats' bodies, but I'm gonna set that glue on fire. So anything that makes it through will be a flaming rat, and then oh well. It deserved to
Okay.
bite me. It deserved to bite me at that point. Good for it.
I
so
have a
put
solution
me in
after
the right
Griffin.
setting, and I'm in the same boat as you. Like, give me a like a lighter and a relightable stick in a forest.
Oh,
Gather all that like dry shit, put it around the base of one tree, climb up the tree, light the shit on the bottom. So then the rats get taken out as the forest burns around you, and any ones that come to climb up the tree, you hit them off one at a time because it lowers the radius you could be attacked by.
How you gonna get out that tree without dying?
What do you mean?
you
That
live in
tree
the
gonna catch on
tree.
fire.
Well, not if I do it right.
I don't
I
know, but that
mean,
forest fires are crazy.
okay, so if I am at a point where I am about to die from the fire, then The rats didn't kill me.
You know what? And therefore you win. I love it.
And I definitely took out more rats than they took out me. So
That's when you know you're competitive. You're like, you know what? I'm not gonna let these rats kill me. I'll burn myself. Self-immolation, like the
So
monks.
I was thinking about it like this. You have many things to deal with. One is attacking from all angles, which you got to take that out by going somewhere where you can funnel them in. And then two, you have their size and their durability, meaning that there's going to be so many expendable ones. And then
I'm
like
saying they're all like New York City fucking 2-3 pound rats.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like
The big boys.
it would be tough. So that's why I would want something like something to beat them away, like a stick or something like that. But I would want like something that I could also set on fire. Maybe like okay, this is kind of far fetched. I'm making something up at this point. But do you remember those fucking flashlights that you shook them to charge them?
Um,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah, I
know
know
what
what
you're
you're
talking
talking
about, but I've
about.
never owned one or seen one.
I've never owned one or seen one either. But give me a cattle prod that has a crank on it.
Cattle.
And I'll
Oh, I
Smart.
see what you're saying.
so I could just make my own
Zap 'em.
power, my own electricity, and fucking. Zzz.
You know
But
what,
like, I
Yeah,
would want to like break it so it's more of like an arc. You know what I mean?
guys? We're so
yeah.
dumb. We missed the most obvious thing we should have picked.
I have a great idea.
Is
Uh,
it an impenetrable suit?
That's a great idea. But
a scuba
no,
suit. Fuck.
Why
I'm
didn't we think of
thinking,
that?
I'm thinking, I'm going straight to a cheese factory, and
Oh, cheese caves.
I am befriending as many of these rats as I can, and I'm pinning them against the other rats.
Oh, he's
I'm
going
starting an all-out
intelligence build.
war.
Dude, you belong in the American government. I'm sure they'll give you a
I
job.
have to. I have
Yeah.
to.
I'm surprised you're not friends with all the rats already, Finn.
Oh,
Oh shit. Should we go ahead and set up the bout? Set up the bout.
yeah.
We setting up the bout.
Set it
Fighting
out.
out of the blue corner.
Rats.
No, I was talking Griffin and Greg.
Oh,
Greg's over
No,
here.
no,
rats.
rats is Greg's corner.
Oh, hey.
I'm sorry
Okay.
I'm being so mean to you, buddy.
No, I'm only heartbroken.
So apparently 8 cups of coffee a day or more can, on average, give you a 16 to 21% longer life.
I bet you 1 cup of coffee a day will kill me.
Dude, I had four cups in total today and an energy drink.
That's fucked
Damn,
up. That's not good.
I
They're
had
lying to you. They're
But
trying to kill
2.
you.
no, here's the thing though. Like, I'm in way better shape. You got to remember, like, a month ago, I was almost 180 pounds. I'm down to 162, 163.
So that's something
Well,
interesting to even bring up because I once worked with a guy who did bodybuilding professionally, and then he installed pools just like on the side, not on the side, but that was his job. But this motherfucker could definitely lift an F Ford 150 truck, like the back end of it, and he's a little bit shorter than me and just cut
So
probably like
extra.
2% body fat, but he takes 200 milligram caffeine
You cut
pills.
out 200 what?
200 milligram caffeine pills
Fuck
with every
those things.
meal.
Fuck those things. I don't like the caffeine pills. And here's the thing though. The study is that I'm talking about says caffeinated or non-caffeinated, decaffeinated
Really?
rather. Yeah, so it's not the caffeine, it's the antioxidants in the coffee and shit. But uh I think caffeine can be good for you if used properly. I think it's fucking fantastic nootropic. Like I can think way better when I'm on caffeine. Most people caffeine will like speed them up like to the point where they get uncomfortable, their heart starts racing, they get jittery and shit. That only happens to me if I haven't eaten anything when I take a massive amount of caffeine. But if I take caffeine all day and then work out and then drink plenty of water and make sure I eat some meals here and there, I just operate better. I can focus really well.
I
I'm a lot
cannot.
calmer. Like
Caffeine is not for me.
I don't know.
Do you think enough people in a situation like frenzying can change people.
Like
Like the physical change of grasshoppers to locusts.
oh, enough people. Okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant just like a crowd having the same idea of being angry at one unifying body and then being like causing a mass change among the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like Twitter.
Well,
I
kind
thought you
of
were
in a
talking
way.
about like the fucking cancel fucking culture bullshit.
That's a kind of intellectual. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's a cult.
Intellectuals. No, intellectual way of talking about it. But for those who don't know, locusts, those things in the Bible that like
Flag.
the plague. Yeah, they're like they fly, they destroy crops, and they can like they've even been
Eat
depicted in
everything.
movies, like eating people. But yeah, they eat everything. Those are like so when enough locusts or enough grasshoppers get into the same place and start rubbing in the same tune, they start to get angry and they start to grow.
Is that really how locusts are born?
Yes.
Okay, so I just had a
Well,
great idea.
kind of, but yes.
I just had a great idea. If we all get together and rub together just fast enough, our penises will get bigger. I know our penises will get bigger.
So that's what I was getting to too. So everybody, those same Minecrafters, the ones that we're gonna get to dig to the crust of the earth, we just got to get them in the same place and all to start jerking it at the same time. And if we can simultaneously focus our splooge on one specific point, either in the sky or on the ground, we can make a dent.
Yeah.
I
Here's the
believe
other
that
thing
we've
too.
found the next level of evolution here.
You were saying like how could you get like 50,000 Minecrafters to just like actually dig and do that? Like
That's not
really
a
think,
lot.
and I'm not saying this in like any sort of derogatory way towards anyone who plays Minecraft. I've never played the game. The one time I did like try to play it at my buddy's house, I just like to destroy the shit and that really upset him, so I never played it again. I was like, okay, I guess I don't want to play it. But
It's a great game.
if you're able to just sit there and mindlessly destroy blocks and build blocks for 20, 30 hours a week. I think the only difference is the physical difference. So if you were
Yeah.
physically able to dig holes in the ground in real life, and you weren't like
Oh,
overweight,
absolutely. Like I didn't take it as like a rude or derogatory thing at all. I thought it was like more of a testament to the ability just to do like the perseverance to make something kind
that's
of
what I'm
thing.
saying. They're
Like
the perfect people for it.
right, like I've seen so many. Like you probably heard of so many different Minecraft communities that have made these crazy, amazing things, and it's by like delegating. Like Roblox kind of was born out of fucking Minecraft. Like that kind of ideal of building different things. Like I know it didn't really come from it, but I definitely see where you're coming from in that the people from Minecraft are the same kind of people who can self-govern to achieve a goal without necessarily a monetary.
Guiding hand or some sort of
Yeah,
strict regime that's like you have to
Okay,
do
but
this.
it
That's
would
like
goes
be
both
that's
ways.
the trolley theory or the grocery cart theory, depending on which country you're from. Like whenever you're finished shopping at the grocery store, there's no
Do you put
governing
it back?
body or any sort of rule that tells you you have to put that cart back. Some
Yeah.
people just
Do
leave it
you
right the
put it
fuck
back?
there. The other day I saw a guy who wasn't even handicapped. He was just a fat fuck that was literally drinking Mellow Yellow with his belly hanging out, smoking a cigarette. He just took the cart and laid it on its side beside his truck and then pulled out the handicap spot.
Hey, at least it's not rolling away. He did
I
more
was
than
like,
most.
okay. I don't think he meant to, I don't think he was intelligent enough to know he was laying it on its side. I think he literally was drooling so hard and was like, "Oh, how do I hold my cigarette and my Mellow Yellow if this thing's in the way?" So he just fucking pushed it out of his way. And it like went up. Dude, people in this area fucking amuse me.
some
It's
stories you tell me remind me of like Idiocracy the movie.
Bro, have you seen Wally?
What a great movie.
Yeah.
Have we
Have you
seen
seen Wally?
Wally?
Dude, that is my
Yeah.
area. You know I live in one of the most obese areas of the country, like per capita. That's no joke. It's a congealed ball of fat that fucking moves as a collective unit. Every time you go in a grocery store, steer clear of the fucking soda aisle, buddy. Steer clear of it.
Dude.
You're gonna get gummed up in there. It's like a bunch of fucking
Mm.
hippos on wheelchairs that move and they're motorized. And dude, the other
Um,
day I was working and these two motherfuckers got their cart stuck sideways and kept turning and trying to turn out from, like they were turning and hitting each other's car. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm going this way. You going that way?
oh my
Fucking hitting
god.
each other.
Couldn't
And
figure
every
it
time,
out.
dude, and I was getting so angry because they were right in front of soda. And as I was watching them do this, every time their cards hit, I saw their fucking fat jiggle, and I was just getting so fucking angry. I was like, oh my god, this for a normal human being, this would be like a moment that Griffin and I were talking about this. This would be a moment of clarity. That's like, hey, I'm literally blocking an entire store of people from traveling through this area because I'm so fat. I have to use a motorized cart to get around the store, and I'm buying more shit to make me fat. But no,
So
as
that, sorry to cut you off. I just want to interject because I was more just to. We are saying fat a lot. When we say fat, we don't actually like. Okay, we're talking about the type of fat
morbidly
that,
obese,
We mean lifestyle
I mean
like,
choices.
morbidly obese people.
well,
That's what I
yeah,
mean.
like the fat lifestyle as well. Like you don't, you, you're at a point because we were talking about this as well that literally food can be an addiction at that point, and it's not necessarily that we're like I don't want to sound like I'm fat shaming because I have like I don't really consider it a bad thing if someone's overweight or underweight as long as they're like healthy and active, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as they're at least putting effort forth to do the things that they want to do. But when you get to a point where you're expecting the world to change for your lack of
Effort.
consistency and effort, that is the type of fat that I was referring to when that's like a moment where, and in particular, it was because a Walmart employee had to come over and help those two out of the way because they couldn't, like, they literally were stuck. They were
Yeah.
stuck in an aisle.
Well, so
And
like you're
I
saying
can,
with them having the same addiction or it being the point where they're an addict and they're getting to the point where they have a victim complex where they feel the entire world needs to change to accept them
Yeah.
as they are because they're just perfectly fine. That's because, and this is factual, they have the same monikers, like identifying monikers and traits that a heroin addict has. They're so addicted to food that they
oh,
genuinely, their subconscious rewrites everything they know about why they're acting the way they act, and they're making sure that it's easing their mind that they're doing the right thing and everyone else is wrong. I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything wrong. I've not. These
Yeah.
people just hate they hate me. It's the exact opposite. If you are fat and you're in my life and I love you, I will shame the fuck out of you because I want you to live longer and spend more time with me. It's not because I'm an asshole. It's because I care about you. And I think if you get to a point where you've let yourself go so much and you have people in your life that are telling you, "It's okay, you're beautiful like that," and you're fucking morbidly obese, your legs are stopping, your legs aren't working properly.
You're
You're
having
so,
trouble walking and
yeah, you
everything.
can't
Yeah.
walk, you can't, dude, that's not healthy, one. And if you have friends and people like that in your life, you should probably cut them out of your life because they don't really give a fuck about you. Anyone that really gives a fuck about you and you're killing yourself, they'll tell you. I tell my friends all the time they're killing themselves. I think they're fucking dumb. Greg's one of them. I tell Greg all the time I think he's dumbass because I care about him.
so what
Greg
about
is
the
one of them.
people who aren't necessarily dealt the same hand, that don't have the same metabolism, body
That's
mass,
bullshit. That's
have
bullshit.
that have had like a straight up thyroid
That's
problem that they now
bullshit.
are on medication on. And that's not bullshit.
It
There's
is
people
bullshit.
that.
Joe Rogan has a hypothyroidism. He's talked about it multiple times.
So
It
when you're an 8-year-old and you don't control what you eat, it and you have a thyroid problem that your parents aren't diagnosing or you're not saying anything about, you're just getting sent to school with
reversible though. There's
it.
never a point of irreversibility for it. You just
No,
got to change your
no, and
diet.
that's the thing, and that's how it also starts. It's not like people. And that's the other part of it too, is it does become a victim thing because a lot of people will say, well, like, I was born fat. I was born without, like, I can't run as much as you. I've never been able to do that. And yeah, man, I I get it, but there's no point where you
You
can't
can,
start working towards it.
yeah, you've seen
And
those transformation videos. It's possible for whoever the fuck wants to
Oh,
do
dude, one of my favorite stories ever
it.
is this guy who was a paratrooper. He was a paratrooper, and you guys know, famously, paratroopers, their fucking joints get destroyed, their spines, all of it. They go through really serious trauma of their body. Like, they would jump out of fucking planes and shit, land on the ground at high speeds, because, shitty old parachutes, and destroy their knees
Yeah,
and shit. There's this one guy who he went to this guy for yoga. I can't remember the guy's name. I don't want to say a random name. It was like
just some
his name
guy.
was Daryl, like something Daryl. He was some yoga guy. I just remember it was like
He's Daryl.
he was like basically trying to be Dimebag Daryl, but it was like Diamondback Daryl or some shit. It was some ripoff. But
Yeah,
anyways, this
okay.
guy was talked about on Rogan once again. I hate using him over and over as an example, but he talks about this topic a lot among other people. And this guy, his testimony is he was fucking well over 400, 500 pounds because he was told by the doctors he would never walk properly again because his fucking knees were destroyed and his back was destroyed and his hips were destroyed. So he gained all this weight under the assumption that, once again, the world's against him. The doctors, everyone's telling me I'm never going to walk again. This guy started doing yoga, and within a couple years, this dude lost like fucking 180 pounds and got full use of his joints. By the end of like the 5 or 6 years that they talk about, he's like running marathons and shit. So there's
Man,
even people that
building
have
it up.
extremely traumatic bodily injury, not TBIs and traumatic brain injury, but people who have traumatic bodily injury can still come back from it. And
Yeah.
so the parable, or the sort of comparison I like to make is, people like to be like, oh, okay, well, it's just eating a little food. You're unhealthy. As long as you're still, alive and you're not having too many bad health problems, then it's okay. That's the exact same thing to me as telling an alcoholic it's okay to have a beer every now and then, a couple shots of liquor. That's the same thing as telling a heroin addict, oh, if you only shoot up on the weekends, then you're not really addicted. Like,
so,
you're just
and
chilling.
the part of that is if someone, like, for me, I can eat like total shit. Like, I can eat McDonald's every day for a month and just gorge myself whenever. And if I've tried to, I won't gain weight.
Um,
Like, it
you
just
you
won't
know,
happen.
you know what I'd like
And
to say to that as
what?
well is that it also depends on, because when you're saying you could eat McDonald's every day, but that's once a day, yeah. Like you would eat McDonald's once a day,
No,
right?
I would wake up, order McDonald's, then I would
Breakfast.
like snack during the day. And I see, I used to have a second dinner where after I would normally eat dinner, I would cook myself something after my mom and everybody would went to bed. Usually it
Yeah,
was like a can of chunky soup and like a grilled cheese, or like a hot dog or like a steak or something like that. Like just something to like, because I was hungry. But the point I'm making is I and there are tons of people like this. Our friend DJ is one of them, where he
Yeah,
can eat like crap, eat whatever,
yeah,
and
he's
it
eating
is a
big shit.
ticking time bomb. Eventually, our
it's the same
metabolisms are
way. Yeah.
just gonna hit the ground. And you're the same way, Logan?
I was, yeah. I couldn't go above 135 pounds until I was like, I think I was 22 when I first like started to gain a little weight. But even until I was 24, I never went over 150, and I ate horribly and never worked out and did drugs and drank and all that shit. And
So
now out of nowhere, I'm 25 years old and I ballooned up to 180 almost. So it happens out of nowhere. It just really, DJ and you are lucky, and I hope you continue to have that metabolism. I think mine directly was influenced by the fact that I had a child and sat in the house and
Dude, I
drank
was
beer
just
for
gonna
3 months
say that. I was
straight.
just gonna say that.
so back to what I was saying. Sorry to rear us back on track, but my original point was it if someone like me can eat the same diet as someone who's predisposed to gaining that weight that I am for some reason just not because of my metabolism, my ketosis, I guess. Like, and that's what those keto diets and certain diets do. They actually change your body's metabolism. So instead of turning fat into energy or turning carbs into energy, it's metabolizing the fat.
Yeah.
Um, But the point is that I'm trying to make is if someone is eating the exact same thing as me, like we had cafeterias when we were going to high school, and if two people ate cafeteria food every day, they went to the same gym class, they just walked home, played video games after school every day, one guy might stay at 120 pounds and the other guy might balloon up to 210. And it is going to be down to just luck of the draw and genetics. And that's another hard part because we can't judge everybody's draw. Like some people might have like a really bad hand when it comes to fucking like, okay, they're predisposed to having arthritis in their knees or something, or they took a bad fall when they were a kid or something like that. But
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, that there's always pathways and always avenues to better yourself, and there's never really an excuse deep enough to bury yourself in a pit of pity and
Yeah.
self
Yeah,
self
life's not fair. So
You don't want to get
exactly.
yourself into eternal darkness of it all, right?
yeah.
Well,
Like,
I'm dyslexic. It's not like I'm never gonna try to read. Like,
That's what I was about to say.
yeah,
Like everybody gets
exactly, yeah.
dealt a shorthand in one fast of life. Even some of the richest, luckiest people in the world, they still have shortcomings somewhere. They still have some sort of darkness or something that life dealt them that they feel no one else has dealt with or is unfair. But here's a great news flash that a lot of people don't like to admit, but everybody has a shit time. Life is unfair to all of us. It is equally
everybody
unfair.
has
It's
that.
So
Yeah.
and I
agree.
coming from someone who grew up really, really, really fucking poor, got really addicted to drugs, and dealt with his demons my entire life. There was many times that I was like, holy fuck, I wish I was just born rich. I wish things would be so much
Uh,
better if this. If you continue your whole life saying things would be better if, I wish this didn't happen, you're never going to change. You're never going to grow. If you're so worried fucking blaming everyone else and blaming your poor luck and fucking not doing anything to actively change it, you're going to stay that way. You have to make yourself uncomfortable. You have to take that uncomfortableness and use it as a catalyst to enter metamorphosis. That's the
um,
only way to grow.
Whether or
I would
not
like to
it's
say,
shut the fuck up, Ben. No, go ahead.
okay, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up. No, I don't know. I just like to say that we, like us as a friend group, I feel like we're all friends because of those situations as well. Because like we all have our shit going on, but we also like motivate each other to be like, yo, like let's do this, make sure we're doing good, like let's not fucking put ourselves in that pit. And that kind of thing, right? Like it's
Anyone that cares about you or claims to be friends or family would do that. We would can like try to spur you on to
yeah,
greater
but
things.
I just think that's kind of what also why it's a reason that we also connect so well with each other, is because we all are like, oh yeah, like
We all value
we're
that.
dealing we're dealing with this shit, but like, hey, look at the fucking bright side. Let's talk to each other and make each other laugh, kind of, and get through it, right? Like, let's be like, oh yeah, like
Not
obviously
fall
there's
into that
something better we can
negativity.
do. Yeah, like there's always something better we can do to be like, hey man, I love you, bro. Like, I'm glad you're running, Logan. Wow, you're a wonderful person. you know?
Yeah, it's and well the beauty about things like that, like having a support group like that, even and people that are truly like quote unquote alone and think that they have no one in the entire world, I promise you, there is someone like-minded in this world. You just gotta fucking find them. And when you find those group of people, you wanna grow with them. You wanna lift each other up. You wanna continuously push each other to make each other better. We all have like this competitive spirit about us, and it's healthy competition. When I see what you guys are doing in your lives, I like to draw inspiration sometimes, or I like to be like, okay, that's really cool that they're doing that. Maybe I should try doing something similar, or so on and so forth. I'm only this close of friends with people I really respect. You know what I'm saying? And if I
I love
respect
being
you,
competitive with you guys.
see, that's what I'm saying. That's the most important. We talk mad shit to each other, dude. We say some of the most fucked up shit I can think to people. Like if
I
I said
love
this to
it.
other people, like and it wasn't you guys, I would be in a fist fight. I'd be in a fist fight, no doubt in my
We'd be in a
life.
mental hospital.
Oh, back in the day
We get
before I
arrested.
was like, and thank you again for allowing me entrance into this group. Because, like, if we remember what happened, Finn met you guys back on Overwatch 4 or 5 years ago.
Damn, dude, it's almost. I think it's actually been
It's been
6 now.
5 years. It's definitely been 5.
5.
I don't know. We'd have to check, but it's definitely been
Well,
5.
back in
How
the
do we check
day,
that?
I don't know if you remember, but I actually used to play with Finn all the time, and Greg, like invited me to a few games where you guys were in it, and I met you guys back then. And Greg like kept on talking to you continuously from then, but I effed off and I stopped talking to Greg for a bit, and then blah blah, blah, and then I came back basically this past year, and I've been talking to you guys a
No, it's
lot
been
more.
longer than a year.
Has it? You think?
You've been around for longer than a year with us, Griffin, for sure.
Would you say?
Yeah.
Would you say so? Yeah,
It's
because
definitely been longer than a year, dude. Our streak on Snapchat is almost a year, Griffin. And
okay.
you were definitely friends with Logan and Connor, and then longer than we started that fucking streak.
Yeah, we played games a while back before I even added you to the Snapchat and shit, or Greg did rather.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. When I got added to the Snapchat, I saw the way you guys talk to each other, and I was like, I'm good on this. And I like put it on mute. I'd put it on like silent. I'm not looking at it. And then like one day I was looking through and I just saw some titties and I was like, oh well, no, man, I can't be in this. And
Yeah, that
just
day got me in trouble. I was very angry. I was like, "Why the
You
fuck?"
yeah,
saw
the
titties?
Yeah, it was
that like
Travis before we
yeah,
kicked him out.
Oh,
I told
okay.
Kiana about it. This dude just sent us like 1,000 fucking nudes
Yeah,
and sex
I
videos, and I was
remember.
like, "Why the fuck would you do that?
There were a
I
lot of
don't want to
titties.
see any of that." Yeah,
no, man.
and then we made an entirely new group.
Yeah, I had no
Made a new.
issue with the titties, but it was
More to the point, but the fucked up shit we were saying, especially not to point fingers, but you are awfully hard on Greg sometimes, in particular, Logan.
Dude, fuck yeah. I mean, let me put it to you this simply. I am equally as hard on the people closest to me. I was that hard on Connor before, and now Connor, is doing fucking incredible for himself. I've been that hard on DJ. I've been that hard on anybody I care about. If I'm hard on you, it's not because I'm an asshole. And people from the outside see that, and they're like, "Wow, this guy just treats his friends like shit." But no, I'm trying to make you uncomfortable so you'll quit doing the shit that's bad for you. If I make you feel uncomfortable enough and keep bringing it up and putting it in your face, then you'll be like, okay, this guy's not going to stop doing it. Maybe I should change it because I don't want to die and I want to be his friend.
Yeah, oftentimes when you do that, you'll bring something up, you'll say something to me, and I'll laugh and smile because I can tell that it's endearing.
Like the words would be like, fuck you, you fucking fat piece of shit. I hope you fucking die.
but
But really what
then
I
the end of
mean
the
is, I
sentence
love
will
you
still
so
be, I
much.
love
Please
you.
start eating healthy.
Or like the other day when I joined the Discord, it was just like, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? And then he kicked me. That made me
Oh yeah, that was
smile.
funny.
That made me laugh.
I
And
mean,
see,
he's like, oh
most people
God,
would be
please.
like, "What the fuck? Don't even fucking do like what the hell? I thought something
We
was
knew you
bad."
would
Like,
come back.
No,
yes,
I
no, I
immediately
wasn't bad at
messaged him.
all.
I messaged him back in a millisecond. I was like, Griffin, please, God, forgive me. No,
No,
but
but
it's
more to the point is, like if you don't get in, like not sink or swim, but if you don't get in the water, you're never gonna learn how to swim. So you gotta like put yourself out there, put yourself under that pressure in order to basically escape it.
yeah. And I think that's
And
a pretty universal message, to be honest. That can fit many facets. If you want to make friends, you got to get out there. You want to start dating, you got to get out there. You want to learn a new skill, you got to get out there. You got to attempt things. You can't
Hey,
just sit in
that's a.
complacency and think that life will just change for you.
I mean, you guys know that I was in a quite the rut for a long time, and you guys really got me out of it. Me and Griffin were talking about it just the other day, and I had to
nice.
admit to Griffin that you guys were right. Unfortunately,
Ooh,
had to
that
say it.
was sweet. Yep, that was good. I'm sorry that I was the only one there for it, but I'm sure that you've done it to everybody so far.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys obviously are right, but like, I didn't want to admit it, right? I didn't want to
Hmm.
sit there and say, "Yeah, you guys are right. I'm a fucking idiot." Like, I
No,
fucked up, but
it's really just like, you don't bring things to people's attention to hurt them. You bring it to their attention so that they can see that they're hurting themselves and the people around them, right? That's like
Well, that's a good way to put it.
it's not I'm being like, "Hey, you know, you're a piece of shit. I just want you to feel bad." It's more like, man, like you're really tearing yourself down, and it's hard to like not you specifically, Greg. Let me clarify, but it's like it's really you want to say it's really difficult to stay around you because it's affecting me, and that's a selfish way to look at it. But in this world, you kind of have to be slightly selfish to take care of yourself. You can't always be altruistic.
Okay, yeah, the situation with me, it just was a bad situation, and then for the longest time, I always wanted to tell you guys that, oh, I'm doing fine, like things are
Right.
gonna go all right and whatnot, yada yada yada. Like I'm gonna keep trying and trying, and obviously trying didn't get me fucking anywhere. And then I finally like took a different perspective on it, and then I did what you guys suggested pretty well, and you know, like I met somebody that is cool to chill around and stuff, and like obviously that's going pretty solid, and it's a good thing, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm
most.
actually like got a better outlook on things.
So
So it's a good thing to have friends that want to tell me I'm a fucking idiot. You know?
I didn't want to stop
That's-
because I feel like that's the most you've talked on the podcast so far.
is it? I feel like I've been interjecting quite a bit.
No, you've been but I mean in like one sitting. I think that was the longest gray, you know what I mean?
That's my longest Greg moment. Yeah. Okay.
for I've actually had a plan to do a podcast, just me and Greg, and I wanted to have a real heart-to-heart conversation on record here soon.
Oh
It's not going to
God.
be anything. No, it's going to be good stuff. Nothing bad.
No, I mean I'm totally down.
I just
I
want to like
yeah,
recap our friendship and all we've been through.
yeah, that's fine.
But
I'm
okay,
down.
it's getting really late. It's been a long one. I want to end it with basically kind of how I always do, just cover the most important topic of what we talked about. And I think the last thing we were talking about, it was fun talking about, pedophiles and cryptid shit and all that other fun stuff. But the most important thing I feel we covered today is that,
Giants.
yes, giants are
Giants
Scottish
are
and I
real.
am Scottish. And
So
Yeah.
is a giant.
if you don't think that at least part of me is giant, you're sorely mistaken.
Oh, we'll
And that
discuss
I'm
part
that
would be
in
my eyebrows.
video.
My eyebrows are
Ooh.
massive. But seriously, I have much love for you, my friends, and I think that anyone listening to this, it's very important that you don't get to a place where you're so comfortable that you never want to change. You want to reach there eventually, but you want to make sure the people around you are also comfortable, and the people around you
Listen,
uplift you, and you uplift them, and you shame them equally. It's yin and
yes.
fucking yang. If you don't shame your friends and also love them with the same amount of force you shame them with, then you're not going to grow together. You cannot let someone do destructive things to themselves and sit by idly and call yourself a friend. So if there's someone in your life that's doing some fucked up shit and you know it, tell them and tell them you love them. And vice versa. If you're doing some fucked up shit and you know it, then listen to your friends. I love you
Hug
all
'em.
very much. And there's an important thing that Greg needs to tell you about your morning breakfast.
You should probably go eat 2 pieces of toast every morning or you'll die.
Um, but there's what happens if you eat it too fast? I mean, you don't want to.
Oh yeah, you really don't want to choke on it.
So, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, in passing, don't get choked. On your daily dose of 2 pieces of toast. Peace.